football moment ever was in the season in '86 when the Bears went to the Super Bowl and William Refrigerator Perry was a big star, and he had done the Battle Royal at WrestleMania 2. There was one game where he picked up a dude and body slammed another football player on the field, and he got super fined for it. But he picked the guy up and slammed him, and it made national news, and people flipped out about it. But I was like, hell yeah, that's what I'm fucking talking about. But, you know, that was it. Otherwise, I find it to be highly boring and a waste of my time. So, you know. Mm-hmm. I don't mind the MMA talk. I mean, MMA has stolen so much from wrestling at this point. It's almost like it's the same thing. Yeah. I mean, as soon as they had the Ultimate Fighter start, I was like, okay, that's just tough enough. Fuck you guys, because like all you guys do is bitch and oh, wrestling's fake, blah, 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 we don't like it. But as soon as wrestling does something cool, oh, we'll take that. I'm like, okay, fuck you. I felt the same way about the NFL, because when the XFL launched, all the NFL wanted to do was be like, fuck that, hate that, we hate that, blah, blah, blah. And then when the XFL went down, they stole every cool thing the XFL did. Yeah. And it's like, oh, you fuckers, you picked the fucking bones of the corpse and you won't even fucking thank the XFL for it.
Yeah.
Like,
the Vultures.
Oh my God.
Nico,
that's exactly what they were. They were the fucking vultures. They picked the bones and they didn't even thank anybody for it. That made me super mad. That made me hate football even more.
Don't block me.
Yeah. Because like I'm the first person. Like if I have a creative idea and I think it's a creative idea and I don't really know how to execute it, and then I see somebody else execute the same fucking idea, I'm gonna watch what they do. How did they do that? Okay, I'm going to see now that I kind of have a roadmap, I'm going to take that and apply it to what I wanted to do. But here's the thing. I'm absolutely going to give that other person credit.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for the germ of their idea or for the practical application of my germ of an idea practically applied by somebody else, gave me the roadmap to flush mine out and make mine what I wanted it to be originally, hell yeah, I'm going to fucking reach out and say thank you for that, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do the 1v1 for right now, and then Rick, I'm gonna make you Ed today. But yeah,
I can't push any buttons for you. I don't know how to do anything.
Hey, that's fine. I push all the buttons. How does the XFL still exist? Yes, we can answer that question.
No, well, the Rock didn't the Rock buy what was left of it, and now it's something else.
It's the UFL now, so it combined with the USFL. So like the new XFL, like which kind of it came back in 2020, and then COVID kind of derailed everything. They brought it back in I think 2023. And then a year before they brought it, like they created the USFL, they resurrected the USFL, and then they merged the two leagues together last year to create the United Football League. So they actually just got started this last weekend, and I'm actually wearing one of their teams. I'm wearing the St. Louis Battlehawks. So
okay,
yeah. But hey, it is the return of Tyler Liger and friends on this episode of Unfiltered, Season 2, Episode 4. Episode 4 already? Really? I gotta double check that. Episode 4. Wow. I have Rick with me. Please, no wrestling questions at this time unless it's general wrestling questions. I'll let Rick be the judge of that. And then I also have Ray, who's kind of the ominous voice this time around. Ray is big into video games and wrestling, and I've known Rick for, goodness gracious, I've known Rick since 2008. I've known Ray since 2002. So these are friends that I've known for a very, very, very long time. Ray for over 20 years, and Rick, we've been friends for almost 20 years now. It's crazy.
Closing in on it.
Closing in on it, 2 decades strong. But yeah, guys, welcome in. Yeah, like I think we were, so last night I was, and by the way, Nico, welcome in. Drew, welcome in. And Hoofhearted, welcome in. Welcome in, guys. We appreciate you joining in on us on this chill, meaningful, positive Easter Sunday afternoon. We have nothing else better to do, so we're just gonna be like, hey, we're just gonna talk about everything and anything. So, so I was watching WrestleMania 9 last night, and I wanted to bounce this off of you, Rick. So, and Ray, you can jump in on this too.
WrestleMania 9. Wow, that's a deep cut. Okay.
Yeah. So, so I was watching the main event, and of course I know the ending where Hulk Hogan comes in and Yokozuna instantly challenges Hulk, like after beating Bret Hart, which is kind of dirty in a way. And then like Hulk Hogan races the ringside, tries to console Bret Hart, and then Mr. Fuji challenges Hulk Hogan to a World Heavyweight title match, which Yoko promptly loses to Hogan to end WrestleMania 9 on a good note, which is a very convoluted ending to a very convoluted show. Like, I was so baffled by the finishes of most of those matches, and I was talking with Ray. I was like, I don't know if I would have hot-shotted that end to end it on a pop. I mean, they were so adamant about ending it like on a pop. And I'm like, dude, like, why couldn't we just bring Hogan out to console Bret Hart and then have both Hogan and Hart chase Yoko to SummerSlam, and then have Yokozuna stay one step ahead of both the Hulkster and Bret Hart, and that would have been and then at SummerSlam you could have done triple threat. You know, you could have finagled Bret Hart back in. Bret Hart could have went over, and then you could have shipped Hogan away. You could have told him, go to Hollywood, make yourself even more money with your terrible movies and the terrible movies that you get into, and then make Bret Hart the face of the franchise. But we can never ever have nice things, can we, Rick?
Well, no, and I have the answer. I have the answer to all of your questions if you would like it.
I would love to hear your answers.
Because the general consensus, there's the real story, and then there's what they want us to know.
Sure.
And you can derive a little bit of both from the same source. We know that at that time, you got to remember 1993, Vince McMahon was notorious for having a babyface as the top champion. Heels very rarely had more than 3 or 4 months runs as champions. People point back to Macho Man Randy Savage, but he won the belt as a babyface, and he didn't actually turn heel until after the Saturday night's main event leading into WrestleMania 5. So, like, you look at the heels that had the titles, they were always transitional champions to the next big babyface. So Yokozuna beating Bret Hart was not, it was not something that you're not going to see Yoko with a long title reign anyway. I would have expected as a fan, probably maybe SummerSlam, Bret would have gotten it back.
Yeah.
But knowing that Hogan was back into the fold after leaving during the steroid trial stuff of the previous year, Hogan was back looking notoriously smaller than he used to look. I'm sure that was not related in any way to the steroid trial.
To the juice.
But you know, he's back. And when he and Beefcake didn't beat Money Incorporated for the tag team titles, I became suspicious that Hogan would be the one to take it off Yokozuna if Yokozuna beat Bret. And so, of course, that did happen. We didn't expect it to happen that night. But also, WrestleMania they never wanted to end Mania with a downer. You look at all the previous Manias.
Yep.
Mania always end on a high note. So for Mania to end on a downer was just going to be very strange. So Hogan must pose, dude. We've heard it 1,000 times. Hogan must pose. So you got to have a reason to Hogan stand out there at the end of the night and pose. That's the end of every WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna work for me, brother.
WrestleMania 1, Hogan in the main. WrestleMania 2, Hogan in the main. WrestleMania 3, Hogan in the main. WrestleMania 4, Savage beats DiBiase in the main, but who's out there posing with Savage?
Hogan.
WrestleMania 5, Hogan poses. WrestleMania 6 was the only time Hogan left the ring and let somebody else pose, which was the Ultimate Warrior. But if you go back and listen to Hogan talk now, or before he died, Hogan's narrative was he wanted to turn heel at WrestleMania 6, and he wanted to jump the Warrior and turn heel. So again, it would have ended with Hogan on top. That's just the way that it was. But we know on the backside of everything, hearing the stories from Bret Hart, hearing the stories from Bruce Pritchard and several others, that the way that was sold to Bret was, you're going to lose the title. Hogan's going to come out and get it with your permission. You're going to send him into the ring to accept the challenge, and we're going to build to you versus Hogan when we come back off of the foreign tour that we're going to do.
Okay.
And Hogan's going to put you over. We're going to build to SummerSlam. Well, Hogan had no intention of putting Bret Hart over.
Oh no.
So, and Hogan was done. Hogan wanted to leave, and so. You drop the belt to Yokozuna with all the bells and whistles that Hogan normally needed to drop a title. And then, Yoko is the first heel to hold the title for more than 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And so he makes it to the next Mania, and who does he drop it right back to? Bret Hart. So, the Hogan thing was an anomaly. But it was also built on false promises. It was built on Vince McMahon's need to have Hogan pose at the end of the show. And, and then look at what they did with Luger right after. As soon as Hogan left, they took Lex Luger and put red, white, and blue all over him and sent him all over the country in preparation to fight Yokozuna. And, they realized in the middle of all that, oh, wait a minute, Luger doesn't have the kind of same fanfare as Hogan. Luger is not the same character that Hogan was. And then they had him beat Yoko by a count out at SummerSlam, which went over like a plate of piss. And it just crap, And so that 93 was a really weird year. That was the real transition year from the glory days of WWF to like the whole beginning of the new generation of WWE. Man, that was a rough start, because everybody that had been big, if you want to say that WrestleMania 6 was like the pinnacle of the Hogan era,
yeah.
Then right after that, man, shit went right downhill at a rapid rate.
Yeah.
And it just, and then by the time, the whole point of having the Attitude Era was to get us out of the toilet that we were in 95, in late 94 and 95. Where dentists are fighting plumbers on television, and there's trash men, and it just, everybody had a vocational gimmick, and it was just, ECW is killing people on television for real, and WCW is a cartoon, and WWF is a cartoon. So the only way to change it was to, completely flip the script, and the reason that was necessary was because 94 and 95 were that awful. But it all started really at 93. That's the beginning of the end of that original glory run.
Right. I remember the original Lex Express, where they put Luger on a bus and they sent him out to go kiss hands and shake babies, and that's exactly what Luger did.
And Luger hated every second of that. I mean, he came off as so disingenuous, because there are some guys, like, you look at guys and you say, okay, like Ricky Steamboat. Ricky Steamboat was a career babyface, okay? Yeah. Career babyface. Never was a heel, wouldn't have been bought as a heel. You couldn't have turned him heel. Steamboat was just not the heel, okay? Luger is a natural heel. He always was.
Oh, yeah, he was a jerk.
To try and force Luger as a babyface, it failed every time they did it. It failed in WCW. It failed in WWF. Yeah. Every time somebody tried to force Luger as a babyface, it never worked. He'd get little pops here and there, but long term, Luger was a natural heel.
Right. Yeah. Nobody wanted to like Luger.
No. Because why do you want to like a guy who looks 50 million times better than you do?
Yeah.
That's what I never understood about guys who were built like that. Why do you want to why does a regular everyday average Joe male want to walk around with a guy's picture on their shirts that
oh my God.
Who does that? I don't understand it. I've never understood.
No, yeah, and so I now I get the most random question from Who Farted. Didn't Luger slam Yoko while wearing cowboy boots? Yoko might have floated.
I'm pretty sure he did have cowboy boots on.
Yes.
Yeah, because he stepped out of the helicopter and he had jeans and t-shirt and cowboy boots on. The thing. I mean, he didn't pick Luger up, turn him. He picked him up, held him, and dropped him. So I don't know that I'd even call that the only time I've ever really seen Yoko slammed was when Ahmed Johnson did it on an episode of Superstars.
Ahmed Johnson, man, that's
when Ahmed Johnson debuted. Like the first couple of weeks of Ahmed Johnson's run in WWF, he came in and he literally picked up Yoko and slammed him.
Jesus.
And it was way better than Lex Luger's was. But yes, to answer the original question, yes, Luger was wearing cowboy boots when he mildly hip tossed Yokozuna.
Yeah.
Hey Ray, what was one of your favorite moments? It was when what was it? It was like an Ahmed Johnson match. And I think it got onto it got on a botchamania where like Ahmed took a scoop slam and he hit it wrong because it's Ahmed Johnson we're talking about. And he gets up from the ring and he was like, fuck! Like
because it's his kidney. Yeah, that would hurt.
Ahmed Johnson was an injury hound. Like he was constantly hurt. They could not get momentum on an Ahmed story without him getting hurt.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, they couldn't get Ahmed going. Like they were trying to kind of build up Ahmed before he would always get hurt, and then he would always get hurt, and then he would always get hurt, and then he would go to WCW and probably get hurt over there too.
When Farouk debuted, when Ron Simmons debuted as Farouk, and he was wearing the terrible, awful blue gladiator helmet. When he came out and put his heel in Ahmed's kidney, you will never convince me he didn't do that on purpose, because that was the most blatant heel stomp to a man's kidney I've ever seen in my life. Like that, he came down and with every intent to fuck that guy up. I mean, I love me some Ron Simmons, and I know Ron has said that was not the intent. I don't believe him. I don't believe it. And here's the thing: I'm not even mad at him because Ahmed was awful, and
Ahmed was bad.
He was super popular. Don't get me wrong; Ahmed was super popular. The crowd at that point in time, 95, 96, he was over like Rover. They loved him, but he was horrific. And I think other than Ahmed, the only person I've ever heard spoken about in past tense by people as being as terrible as you could imagine is the Warrior. Warrior and Ahmed are the two that I hear people shit talk like crazy about how bad they were. And Ahmed's not even dead.
No.
Warrior, you can almost get away with it now with Warrior because he's been gone for so long, but Ahmed's still living and breathing, and people have no business at all, or have no trouble at all saying, oh my God, that guy was terrible.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Jeez Louise.
Triple H has said some terrible shit about just in the last year. Triple H went on that one guy, what's that one guy's podcast, that comedian, Schultz, Andrew Schultz.
Oh yeah, Andrew Schultz, yeah.
Yeah, he was on that little thing, and he talked about he skirted it. He talked around it until they talking about having to work with somebody that was so awful that he like the only time Triple H ever got in Vince's face and was like, "You've got to be kidding me! How do you want me to succeed if you're going to put me with this awful person?" You know, blah blah blah. And they pushed him and they pushed him and they pushed him till he finally said Ahmed Johnson.
Oh God, it's kind of like Ryback with CM Punk, like.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's another one. That's like if you want a third, Ultimate Warrior, Ahmed Johnson, and Ryback. That would have been a great reality show. That would have been like if you want to do like remember they did that
they did
Legends House. Remember Legends House?
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. I want to see Ultimate Warrior, Ahmed Johnson, and Ryback on like a buddy trip to an indie show.
Oh God,
that would have been awful. Absolutely awful.
Train wreck.
How many indie guys can we kill on one show?
So Who Farted brought up an interesting point. Like in my humble opinion, they were trying to have a new Junkyard Dog with Ahmed Johnson.
I think it was, well, I don't know that I would say Junkyard Dog. He came off to more like a flashier attempt at a Tony Atlas is the way I got it. Like Tony Atlas with a little more flash.
A little less foot fetish too.
I get the I get the, see that poor Tony Atlas. Beyond the, I loved Tony Atlas, and then I saw him in Beyond the Mat, and then the foot fetish stuff came out afterwards, and I was just like, oh man, poor Tony. No, I get the Junkyard Dog reference because at that time there was always the token African American guy in the promotion.
Yeah.
And if you were pointing to like the absence of Junkyard Dog in WWF and you needed a new one, they already had Coco Beware, who was doing all the, because Coco would do all the shucking and jiving stuff, you know? So I don't know. Ahmed was never really a shuck and jiver. That's why he came off as more Tony Atlas to me.
Gotcha. Sweeze, welcome in. And then, Schultz is barely comedian. I agree with that statement. So, but yeah, like there's that. What else was I thinking of?
Well, you'll forgive me for maybe mislabeling Schultz as a comedian. I don't follow the new trendy comedian communities. Because to me, the comedians that are being focused on now are too busy trying to be pseudo-political intellectuals when actually they're just living fart jokes. So I don't understand. Guys that make an entire living on talking potty humor suddenly are like these uber intellectual political guys. Fuck off. I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
Like I can't go away. I don't care.
I mean, like, I'm sorry, but you can't be the next George Carlin. Like, George Carlin was so good.
Well, here's the thing. George Carlin was political without being political in your face. He was veiled political because he was wrapping it in a joke. And now these guys want to put the jokes aside and tell you how you should vote. I'm sorry, you don't have any context in reality. You stand up on a stage and regurgitate shit you heard your drunk buddy say last night. So fuck off. I don't care.
Gotcha. Trying to get this hummingbird to land on my finger. Just lure him in with beer, Drew. That's what you usually do, is you lure everything in with a nice cold Coors Light. But no, like, what else was I was talking with Ray earlier as well, like just how nice it is. Like, even though like WWE has went away from Peacock completely and we kind of lamented the WWE network, the loss of the WWE network, RIP. I do really like the WWE Vault. And I also like that they have a WCW channel that you can watch, like the old pay-per-views or the old specials and everything. Like, That's what I usually watch if I don't have anything else to watch, or I'm just like, okay, I'm burnt out on lolcows, or I'm burnt out on internet drama. Like let's watch some old school wrestling and just have it on as background noise while I scroll through shorts on YouTube. Like,
well, and I agree with you. I love the vault and I love watching some of the older stuff. But here's the thing that people need to remember about the network. One of the reasons why they don't throw a lot of that content out now is because it didn't get a lot of views when it was on the network.
Sure.
There was a lot of stuff that they threw a lot of stuff up on the network that never got talked about, never got views. Nobody ever paid attention to it. I think that all of that will eventually end up on ESPN.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, the way you're going to get WWE's attention, to get more of the historical content from the territories and other independent shows and things like that. If you want world class, if you want Mid-South, if you want Florida Championship Wrestling, if you want to watch that stuff, when they release videos on the vault that deal with that stuff, get those views up.
Right.
Get those views up. If they see people clicking on certain things, they will give you more of it.
Yeah, I think it's because the modern wrestling fan is not exactly like patient enough for like an AWA.
Oh no, they're not. They are not patient enough at all. If you were, I'm gonna alienate an entire generation of people when I say this, but I have no qualms about it at all. I am not a fan. I am not a fan of these people. I'm gonna tell you right now. And I don't care how you feel about it. And if I upset you, good. I hope that I did, because here's the thing. When I hear guys online, or I see guys online running their mouth about wrestling in any form or fashion, and I find out that your biggest historical takeaway from wrestling is the Attitude Era, I don't give a fuck what you have to say. Okay. if you go back and say, oh my God, I remember those legendary matches between Rock and Austin. If that's your legendary match, you can fuck straight off 9 Ways to Sunday, because I don't care what you have to say. If you grew up and ECW is your, like, oh my God, back in the day when Paul Heyman was doing this in Philadelphia, fuck you. Fuck you. I tell the trainees at 101 all the time, if you're going to watch old wrestling, if you want to go back and tape study and you want to watch, you're not allowed to watch anything anything post 1990.
Oh.
You watch from 1975 to 1989 so that you can learn psychology, how to take things slowly, how to tell stories. That's what you watch, because anything from 90 forward is tainted horseshit. You're not allowed to watch it.
Sure. Oh yeah. Sure. It's kind of like Dusty Rhodes and Flair was always entertaining. Yeah. I enjoyed some, Flair for the Gold, and I enjoyed some, some Dusty. Well, when Dusty was, what was it? It was kind of primordial stages. Like it was like what? Jim Crockett Promotions.
I might be able to forgive like up to 92, but that's it. That's it. Yeah. Like, if you want to learn how to work as a wrestler, you're not allowed to watch anything ECW forward. You're not, because that's when it became about move. How much can we bleed? How much can we not sell? How much furniture can we destroy? That is not what wrestling is.
Right. It's about telling a story.
Wrestling at its base form is male soap opera pretending to be a athletic competition. You have to believe that what you're watching is real so that you can get invested in the personal stories of the wrestlers. And that is not what is on TV today. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy today's wrestling, but I enjoy it through the lens that I'm intended to enjoy it through.
Okay.
I do not look at today's wrestling in comparison to the old school wrestling, because there is no comparison.
No.
I look at today's wrestling in the lens through which they are telling their stories. It is a different business. But if you're learning to work, and if you want to throw your opinions out at me about what is right and wrong with wrestling, but you don't know like who Bruno Sammartino is, or you can't tell me about some of the classic matches between Tully Blanchard and Magnum TA, or you don't know who the Von Erichs or the Freebirds are, please kindly fuck off, because I don't care what you have.
See, Magnum TA, man, that guy was he was so like he had such a like he had so much potential, and then like the car accident happened. So like I just feel so bad for Magnum TA, because after the car accident he was just never the same. But
Magnum, the NWA World Champion at Starrcade '86, and that was a terrible thing that happened to him.
Yeah.
He was going to be a major star, and I honestly believe that if he had, I've said this before, and if you're an old school fan, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you're not an old school fan, you probably won't know. But I am still to this day under the belief, had these two events not taken place, had Magnum TA not had his car wreck, and had Gino Hernandez not died of a cocaine overdose, if those two had lived another 10 years, that would have been a WrestleMania main event. Magnum TA versus Gino Hernandez.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Because those two were amazing.
Yeah.
Consummate babyface versus consummate heel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there'd be no telling how he would have shaped wrestling. Yeah, let's see. Didn't watch ECW during the Monday Night Wars, neither did I. I lean towards WCW. Hey, like, here's my thought on, and like, maybe, just maybe, like, and Rick, I'll bounce off you for this, is I think, what was it, Starrcade 97, they were building up to Hogan versus Sting. Mm-hmm. And they were, and it got to the point where it was basically Sting versus the NWO at that point. Of course, like, you had Diamond Dallas Page in kind of the picture as well, but like, that's like the only other top guy that represented WCW other than Flair, who was kind of off in the ether somewhere, and then maybe a sporadic smattering of guys.
It was Sting surrounded by the babyface flavors of the week versus the NWO.
Right. I mean, do you feel like the NWO like should have, like, I feel like they should have broke up, or they should have splintered, like they could have done like the Hollywood Wolfpack route, and then just drop the NWO name.
I think the NWO Civil War is what led to the actual destruction of that company.
Okay.
The NWO thing was successful, and they ran with it far too long. Here's what I believe should have happened. You spent an entire year building to Sting versus Hogan, and you ruin it with one bullshit count. What should have happened at that show should have been a stipulation on the show, because every match on that show, if you go back and look at it, every match on that show was NWO in some form or fashion versus WCW. Every match. There should have been a deal. There should have put something in place where whoever won the most matches, if the NWO would have won, they would have got control of WCW. If WCW would have won, NWO would have had to disband. And Sting should have beaten Hogan fair and square, flat out, clean in the ring. And that show should have been the end of the NWO Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
And they should have saved Bret Hart for the aftermath. Because if Sting is the champion and the NWO is gone, and Sting walks out on the next Nitro needing a new challenger, here comes the undefeated WWF champion Bret Hart, who didn't really lose the title fair and square to Shawn Michaels. If he comes out and we get Sting versus Bret, and you may say, well, that's two baby faces. Well, here's the thing. Look at who all was in the promotion at the time. Jim Neidhart came over with Bret. Davey Boy Smith came over with Bret. Benoit was already there. Jericho was already there. You had an easy Hart Foundation 2.0 that you could have put together immediately to take the place of the NWO. They could have been the new bad guys. versus Sting, and you could have ran that for 6-7 months until the Hearts became so powerful and had so much momentum, and everyone was that, you know, it was not as bad as the NWO, but it was getting bad. You had every reason at that point to ask the NWO guys to come back and risk bringing them back to help WCW. And then you could have gone with NWO Part 2 if you wanted to, but they needed time to rest. You needed to move away and do something fresh and new. WCW chose not to do anything fresh and new. And that whole year that you built to Hogan versus Sting, you turned right around 2 months later and put the belt right back on Hogan.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what was it all for? That was a wasted year. Yeah. It was the 1 year that you made more money than you'd made since Ted Turner bought the promotion, and you wasted all that story and money in 2 months. And then the next year, they lost more money than they'd ever lost before.
Right. Yeah. And then it started going to hell in a handbasket.
Oh, my God. Yeah. That's, dude, you got to put things away. You got, like, you know what we're doing right now in my promotion.
Yep.
Okay. We started what we're doing right now last year. This coming May will be 1 year from when we started this. You know that when it gets to the end of the year, no matter what happens, I'm moving on.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to, you can't kick people in the dick for 3 or 4 years in a row.
No.
You can't do that. You've got to move on.
No matter how cool it is to kick people in the dick, it is not.
Look at how many times DX got big and then left.
Yep.
Because they knew they could bring it back and make a shit ton of money. All they had to do was put a new graphic on there and stick the label on a new piece of merch.
Yeah.
But you gotta let it rest. And the NWO, they rode the NWO like a fucking tie hooker, and they just no. You can't do that.
Yeah. B Young, welcome in. He brought up Legion of Doom. Yeah, the Road Warriors. Probably one of the cooler ones. Save for the one time where, what was it? The Road Warriors and Paul Ellering showed up with they showed up with a dummy.
Oh, Rocco. Oh, God.
Yeah.
That
Rocco.
was the end of it, dude. That was, see, as a fan watching at the time, I loved Demolition. I did not look at Demolition as Road Warrior ripoffs.
Right.
I loved it. I thought they made their own way. I thought they did their own thing. They looked really good doing it. They were very popular. Loved them. I was very upset when Road Warriors finally came to WWF because I saw the writing on the wall. Okay, he finally got the Legion of Doom. He's going to feed him Demolition, and Demolition's going to be done. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But they rode the Legion of Doom thing for a little while, and I just kept saying to myself, how long is it going to be till they turn these guys into fucking cartoon characters?
Oh, yeah.
And sure enough, then they do that vignette where they're in Chicago and they're digging through the rubble of their old apartment complex and they find that fucking dummy. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Here we go.
Oh, no.
And now Paul Ellering is walking around as a ventriloquist with Rocco the puppet, and the fucking Road Warriors are taking orders from a puppet. Like, what are we, dude? Hawking Animal. They're the meanest, most brutal tag team of all time. And now every show that they're on, it's like a guest appearance on the Muppet Show. What are we doing?
Oh, man.
It was so bad. So bad. Yeah, my God.
It was bad. Like, it's like, why on earth did you have a puppet? Like, why on earth did you have a dummy? Like, I mean, maybe if they'd done the whole, like, Batman villain, like the ventriloquist in Scarface gimmick, but they didn't do that. It was totally sanitized for kids. Look,
here's the thing. Now, see, you say stuff like that, and then you get my clock starts ticking.
Oh, uh-oh.
Like, you could have totally had Rocco. Like, you could have had Paul Ellering kind of get lost in the Rocco character.
Yeah.
And you could have had Paul basically turn heel on them because he's being influenced by the puppet.
Oh, God.
And then now we've got a story. Now we've got a story. But they didn't want to do, they're not going to do edgy, cool shit like that in 1992.
No, they're not.
Because they're riding that final wave to the next year when they're going to crash and burn.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know.
What was it? Like, Hawk couldn't even get through, like, that SummerSlam match. Like, he barely got through that SummerSlam match, if I remember correctly.
Oh, dude. He left the tour right after that show, and they all flew back to America, and he was like, yeah, fuck this, I'm staying over here.
I'm going AWOL.
Yeah, he was done. Hawk was done. It was like, nope.
God.
We're not doing it.
So I'm just reading chat, and because I enjoy our chatters. We appreciate everybody that comes in and shoots the breeze with us too, because it's just an Easter afternoon hang. The only thing that Drew liked about Hogan was he dropped the N-bomb. Never watched him wrestle, but he did like that he called Booker T the N-bomb. And what's funny is, like, Booker T was, like, actually, like, kind of cool with it. Like, if you ask Booker T about it. So it was like, what's going on here? Like, but I don't know. Like,
well, I as a lifelong fan of the business, I was never a Hogan fan. I was never somebody who liked him a lot. I was just not a fan.
Right.
I got sucked in. When he came back in 2002.
Yeah.
And then after Mania with Rock, when he came back to the red and yellow and got to see how the crowds were re-embracing him again and kind of watching him get emotional at some of the ovations. That sucked me in as a fan. And then at WrestleMania 21, when he came and saved Eugene from Muhammad Hassan and Daivari, that pop in the building that night was ridiculous and reminded me of the old days of Hogan. And I got real nostalgic in that moment. But that was the only time where I really cared. So when Hogan's personal issues and the things he did in his real life started to crash down around him, and then he became kind of persona non grata with wrestling fans of today, it didn't surprise me. I didn't feel any way about it because I wasn't invested in him to begin with. Right. But it's just one of those classic cases of watching somebody that you grew up with and they held a certain standing, and then they just crash publicly because of their own decisions. And it's just like, that's hard to watch.
Yeah, it is.
And I hate that he's passed, and I feel for his family and his kids. But at the same time, I hate that his legacy, which he did a lot for the business, and he will always be ridiculously important to the business. But I hate that now when his voice is brought up or his name is brought up, it's just kind of one of those that gets a side eye and everybody just kind of moves on. Yeah. So I hate that. And that's happening to a lot of people now. It's happening to Flair. Of course, they don't mention Vince's name at all anymore at all. No. They'll reference him, but they won't mention his name. And it's just because, we find out who these people really are in their real life. And sometimes that's sad.
Yeah, it's the mantra. I mean, especially in the wrestling circles, where you either die a macho man or you live long enough to become Hulk Hogan. So
it's and look, I will forever be the guy who I wouldn't consider myself an apologist for old school wrestling. I just am a realist about it, and the world was different when they would use racial stereotypes and they would beat on women and they would do the things they would do in the old 70s and 80s wrestling, especially the 80s. They did a lot of stuff that you'd never see today. And that's just because the world around us has changed. Yeah. And there's things that you just can't do anymore. But I'm not going to say that it was right back then. It wasn't right back then. It was just the world. And I'm not going to go back and apologize for it, but I'm also not going to look at it and go, oh, well, that there wasn't anything wrong with it. Of course there was stuff that was wrong with it. But again, Vince McMahon's the person who made wrestling for kids, because I was a wrestling fan before Vince McMahon got a hold of the WWF and turned it into the WWF. I was a fan before that, and I used to go to the local wrestling shows here in town, and guess what? There were no kids.
It was all...
There were no kids.
And there were a lot more women in the crowd, too.
My very first show that I ever went to, December 17th, 1977, I remember that show, that day, that building like the back of my hand. And I can honestly guarantee you, I was in a kindergarten at the time, and I went with a friend and his parents, and I bet you there were 5 kids under the age of 16 in that crowd.
Yeah.
And there were no women unless they were family, unless they were with a husband or a boyfriend.
Got you.
That crowd was 98% males above the age of 30.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Because that's what wrestling was.
Yeah.
It was the Friday night, it was the Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night male escape.
It was for men.
Vince McMahon sanitized it and turned it into a family product.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Ray, when was your first wrestling show?
Mine? It's probably when we went to see Jerry Lynn.
Oh, yeah. 3XW Extreme Conflict. So this was interesting. So Jerry Lynn. So Rick knows Jerry Lynn. Yeah, and I still think highly of Jerry, too.
I talk to Jerry about once a month.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And Jerry just needs catharsis. Like he just needs needs a shoulder to talk. He needs somebody sane to talk to. But no, like our first time we saw Jerry, I think he was facing it was like Tony Scarpone. It was this indie guy. And that's the part of the course for Jerry. It was before really he had that career renaissance, like inspired by The Wrestler, where he became ROH World Champion. It was right before the Renaissance. I liked Jerry before Jerry got cool. So, Jerry. I think was he semi-main or main? I don't know. But he came on, and I remember us chanting new effing show, and Jerry's like, hey, there's kids in the crowd. There's kids here.
Yeah, he said that to us.
Yeah, it was too good.
It was.
I had to drop my camera, but I'm still here.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
No
No problem, bro.
I worked a show in a small town. After my match, the promoter handed me my pay and told me to get out while I still could because the crowd began to riot and broke out the torches and pitchforks. Ooh, who farted? Dear Lord. That is what you call nuclear heat. Like Rick knows that all too well.
Yeah, my God, yes, I do. I do.
Yeah. It's not boo, you suck heat. It's like, dude, I want you to die. I want you to be unalived in Minecraft kind of heat. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But no, because I was like, oh, sweet. The warehouse had Jerry Lynn. So and it was it got to the point where I saw, where I saw Jerry so often where I was like, dude, he's like Uncle Jerry. He comes in. And and you see him about every other month, and it's like, oh, Uncle Jerry's come back, and probably still one of my favorite independent matches, even though it's not remarkable in the career of either Raven or Jerry, was when they fought each other in the warehouse, and it was what was it? It was Bill Barnett, and Bill's a great guy. I got to know Bill over the years. Taking the even flow DDT from Raven and popped the entire warehouse, and that was probably one of the loudest pops I heard in there. So,
but that happened because Bill had been a heel for almost 6 months at that point.
Yeah.
And he had never taken a bump. No one had ever put their hands on him. And they wanted to kill him. Never done anything. And then boom, even flow DDT, and you'd have thought that it was a Road Warrior pop, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I think my first warehouse show was actually when Necro Butcher came in. And I remember he wrestled Violent V, and I know Rick has his reservations about Violent V. I remember like V powdered out and went into the crowd, and they were supposed to brawl in the crowd. Necro, like in the barriers at the time, the barriers were well constructed. They were out of wood, and I mean they were well done. Like,
FYI, those barriers had just been built like 2 days before that show.
Right.
And everyone was told implicitly, don't do anything to the wood barriers.
And of course, guess who barrels through them? Necro. Like, just boom. Like, it just destroys them.
Absolutely destroyed.
Oh my gosh. So in the end, there were a lot of tires cut and windshields broken, and some folks got stitches. Damn. Scary. That's a scary indie show. Most of the fans, they kind of know. Most fans these days, they kind of know. It's like, oh yeah, it's part of the show. But yeah, I've never seen it get bad to where like tires got slashed and like windshields got busted and you'd have to call the cops. I mean, I remember, I think for one Squared Circle Pro show, I think we had to bring in the cops, but it was just to play along with the storyline. I think somebody got arrested. That was kind of interesting.
We did. We had a friend who worked on the police force, and they talked to one of their buddies, and
we lost Rick for a second. That's okay. Hey, Rick, I'll let you get back in. Let's see. I was once beamed in the back of the head by a flying can of Pepsi when I was turned to see who threw it. It was a teenager in the front row giving me the bird and using gamer language. Ooh, I got you. Oof. Okay, there we go. We got you back, Rick. Sorry.
No, I was just saying we basically set that up with a guy who was just off work, and it was fun because we hadn't done it before, and people were like, "Oh my god!" So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. There's a reason why I didn't work certain towns. The fans who took it, because of the fans who took it way too seriously. Yeah, it's like the Homer Simpson, man believes wrestling is real gimmick. And we get that with one of the people that we cover on Crash Out Connoisseurs, PWR, by the way. And I was supposed to get PWR on a show, and then he decided to snort snow. And I mean, I think Rick and Ray, you guys Rick's heard this story at least 3 different times, and then Ray, you've heard the story at least a few times. So
yeah,
we used to call gamer language construction talk. Does that include catcalling too? I'm just curious. But no, I think since then, Ray, you've been to a few TV tapings, and whenever they're like, didn't you go to an AEW show along with a WWE show?
Not an AEW show.
Okay, I thought you went to one like when they were like in Cedar Rapids or something.
Not that I remember of.
Okay. Because I was gonna be like, okay, as a fan, what's the biggest difference in presentation from WWE to AEW? But I figured, oh man, Ray would know, but that's okay.
All right.
I still can't.
I have a couple of friends that are mostly fans.
Yeah,
and they go to both when they can, and they always tell me the same thing, that the atmosphere at AEW versus WWE, AEW's atmosphere is a lot more severe in the sense that it is wrestling, and the majority of the crowd are online wrestling marks, whereas WWE's crowd is mostly families.
Yeah.
And so even though the prices are through the roof and everybody's freaking out about the prices of everything, they're still selling tickets, dude.
People are still going.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of kids and a ton of women, and you don't get that at AEW show is mostly 25 to 40 males. That's what it is. And so, and it is all about, like, AEW is about match, move. They do have stories and they do have some linear stuff, but it's not their focal point. Their focal point is dream matches and content of the match. That's what their fan base wants. That's what they give their fan base what they want. Sure. That's what they want. Absolutely. And if you're somebody that likes that, you probably like it a lot. If you're somebody who doesn't care about it, you probably don't care. And I'm just one of those people that I know that AEW is not for me. I know it's not my product. I don't want them to go away. The wrestling business needs alternatives. I totally want them to be around. I don't have to watch it because it enrages me. And so I don't like to hate watch crap. Right. If I don't want to watch something, if I don't like it, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to sit there and watch it on purpose so that I can take notes and then hop online and bitch about it.
Yeah.
So that's not what I'm doing. But the atmosphere is different because the product and the presentation is aimed at the people it's aimed at. WWE is aimed at family entertainment. AEW is aimed at wrestling marks. Right. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
It's two different. It's two different. Like, I don't know. I think the uniting force.
And neither is wrong. Neither is wrong.
No, neither
they're both right. There's nothing wrong about it. We just.
I got you. Come here. You want to be on the show?
And that's okay. You're free to like what you want to like.
I'm sorry. I had to get one of the dogs. Yeah, shout out Hate Watch Podcast. But no, I saw the dogs like in the lower right hand corner, and I was like, I go get one of the dogs, and yeah, they're all wanting to be pet now. But yeah. I mean, I think it's two sides of the same coin, to be honest with you. Yeah, dogs. Yeah, you want to see Max? You want to see Max? Well, he's kind of he only likes to be cuddled, but Drew is going insane in the chat because we have dogs. But yeah, like it's two sides of the same coin. Like, you know, wrestling is kind of that uniting force. Even though, like, you know, one side is family and the other side is the hardcores, there's just not a ton of hardcores compared to like your families and your casuals. But I mean, that's why I prefer to go to indie shows, and you can have a little more fun. You have a little more interaction. And then
indie shows are far less tribalistic than the big shows.
Right. I agree.
But the thing is also, you have to remember, all fandoms are tribalistic. You can look at the Star Wars fandom, the Marvel fandom, football fandom. Yeah. Some of the worst tribalistic things in the world. And so, you know, but at an indie show, most of the people that are going to the indie, if you're seeking out indie wrestling, it's because you just want to go have a good time and watch wrestling.
Yeah.
If you watch WWE, you're probably watching it because you're a lifelong WWE watcher, or you were exposed to it through someone's social media, like a Logan Paul or somebody like that. You're maybe watching it for the first time. If you're an AEW watcher, you're watching it mostly because you're an anti-WWE guy and you want to watch something else. Gotcha. Or you're a super indie person and it appeals to the super indie, you know, feel. That's why people watch. But a regular local indie show, those people just want to go out and have a good time and watch wrestling.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. It really is a good time. And you know, I've seen wrestling shows in high school gyms. I've seen shows at like I thought the coolest one was actually in Plainview, and it was like it was at like a church, like it was a building sponsored by a church, and they had two balconies. One was like kind of where we, you know, where the guys kind of changed and everything. And then there was another where, I mean, I remember one guy tried jumping off and.
That was that Amarillo Elite Wrestling show that we did.
Yeah.
It wasn't in Plainview. It was in that other city. It was that
Dimmitt,
one little
no.
we did one. We did two of them in Dimmitt, but it was that one. God, I can't remember the name of the town. I want to say it started with an F.
Friona? No, not Friona.
No. Or no. Yes. It was in. Oh no. It wasn't. Or is there one that starts with an L right around there?
La Mesa?
No, it was.
That's south of Lubbock.
It was between Plainview and Tulia.
Plainview and Tulia. I mean, the only one I can think of.
It was that town that AWOL lived in.
Oh shit.
AWOL. Remember AWOL?
Yeah, I remember AWOL.
It was his hometown.
Gosh, I can't remember.
That's why nobody came, because he didn't promote it.
Right. I thought that was in Plainview.
No, it was. Maybe it was. Oh, you know what? You're right. It was. That other one was in that other place. Never mind. You're right. I'm wrong. Ignore me.
Because no, you're good.
You're good, man.
But no, like I remember like every now and then there'd be the Hereford Rumble, and then yeah, I know you want to come up too. Okay, come on. Well, you want to get picked up. All right. I know the dogs each want a turn. But yeah, worked in everything from warehouses, barns, churches, and even old opera houses and theaters. Yeah, those are the neatest ones. Like I think I asked Ryan Justice a couple weeks ago about like what is the coolest place you had a show in. I remember Rick. I remember we did one in Brownfield. And that was a cool place. It was like an old gym.
That was early SCP.
That was early. Yeah, I remember that. Early SCP.
Because we did that was when SCP was monthly. And we took up we did in between two Jake shows, we did a Brownfield show.
Yeah. That was a cool venue too.
That was 2011.
Oh my gosh.
I think it was like October or November of 2011.
Okay. Gosh.
Because that was the first show that I used Jason Zane and Damian Blood on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Jason Zane.
Because I had to convince Brett to bring him in.
The winner. And then, yeah, Damian Blood, who's now a BCW now. Gosh, I need to bring Damian in one of these times because... I mean, when you ask him about the current product, like he's going to be old man, like, bitter old man, but like, nah, yes, I just want to be like, oh man, talk about like your favorite matches or whatever, or talk about the warehouse. But are you going to pay with cash card? But yeah, man. Yeah, I know. I got all three dogs on my lap. I hope Squeeze is still here and showing Sumo the dogs. Oh yeah, these guys are all over the place. They're probably wanting to get fed here soon, but even worked in rodeo arenas, football fields, and once a big ass mall parking lot. Oh yeah, we used to do the big lots shows for WWA. I remember those. They would always have shows at the big lots, so they would always go to the one off Grand. And I'm using Amarillo as a reference. There was a really cool side parking lot that they hardly used for that big lot, so we had an outdoor show there, and then there was one that they used off 34th and Bell. So
I loved those parking lot shows. I thought they were really great.
They were fantastic. Like, yeah, you sweltered a little bit, but parking lot sounds dangerous. Well, when you know how to work them, they're not so bad. They're not so bad.
Those were a lot of fun because we do them in the afternoon. We do them in the afternoon, and then we drive them to the warehouse for a night show.
Yes, yeah. I remember it'd be like a double shot.
Yeah, two shows in the same day.
Yeah. That was a lot of wrestling. I remember what was it? There was one time it was like the day after Thanksgiving. And it was like a 6 p.m. show, and it ran all the way until like maybe like 11. I remember those marathon shows. Oh.
I try real hard not to have those long ass shows, but sometimes it just doesn't work out for you because you put times on shows and then guys decide, I'm not going to pay attention to my 15-minute time limit. We're going to go 30 instead. Okay.
Oh, I know. It's so ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. I hear Cooper. I'm
picking him up from the groomers while we're talking.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I went off camera, because I was traveling.
Oh, that's okay. That's no problem. I'm gonna keep chat kind of preoccupied with dogs. I think, let's see, did they all run off? Yeah. Oh no, not Tucker. Tucker's still here. So yeah, like yeah, I got a bunch of dogs. I got three Yorkies, and they all bark at everything and anything in between.
Dogs do that.
They're a little camera shy a little bit too. You want to come up on my lap? You want to come up on my lap? Okay, come on, Tucker. There you go, buddy. There we go. Yeah, I know. Tyler Liger and Friends, and we count the furry ones as well. So.
Yep.
Yeah. He was just wanting to be up here. He just never seen this before. It's a dog cast. We got dogs. I once worked 3 matches in a single show. Yeah. Hopefully the payday was good. Who farted? Yeah. It's a dog cast. Yeah.
There was a period of time when I was booking shows that I was so new to everything. I didn't really understand the nuances of the business side of stuff. And the local guys, like, I could have them work 3 times if I wanted to, and I was just going to give them the money that they always get. And then I ended up booking somebody that like drove 6 hours, and I was like, I want to do this thing, like, you're going to have the opening match, and then we're going to do this offshoot angle, and you're going to end up in the second to last match of the night. And he was like, so I'm getting double pay? And I was like, what?
Nope.
And he's like, I'm not gonna work twice for the one fee.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that a thing? And he was like, that's a thing. I was like, really?
Yeah.
And so I ended up like, I said, well, we'll think about it, because we had a couple hours before the show started. And I ended up talking to another person who had done a little bit and they were like, so if you're going to ask me to do that, you're probably going to want to come to an agreement. That's the guy, and I was like, I can't give you double, but I can give you like 1.5. Like, I can give you 1.5.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he was like, but that was something that I put in the back of my pocket, where I was like, okay, you need to remember that if you're going to ask people to do multiple things, you need to be prepared for them to ask for a little bit more. And so now it's like, I might not offer it, but if you're going to ask for it, I'll probably give it to you.
Right.
So, that's something that you learn. But the only thing for me that's ever really stood out as far as like, am I going to pay you more than our normal rate, is if I ask you to get color, because I never ask people to get color. Mm-hmm. I will say, hey, the context of this match, color might work. And if you're willing to do it, fine. But I will always offer guys more if they're willing to get color.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I actually had good, what was it? Who farted? You got what was it? 2 matches without being, didn't take a bump in 2 of those 3 matches. I actually had a good production company behind me, so I got paid for everything and match I worked. And then Drew says, daily contract instead of per show. Oh, well, it works a little different in the wrestling world, though. Yeah.
Well, it just, everything's a negotiation. And here's the other thing. On the indie level, like, I've been in situations where people have said, hey, we want you to sign this contract. And my whole thing is, do you have TV? Do you travel a circuit? You don't? Okay, so you just have this show every other month or once a month or every 3 weeks, but you just have this show. why do you think someone's going to be willing to lock themselves down for you when they have the option to work anywhere they want and get? If I'm a traveling wrestler and I and get Saturdays and Sundays to myself, if I could work a Thursday night show and travel to a Friday show and then travel to a Saturday show and maybe work a matinee on Sunday plus the show Sunday night, if I could work 4 or 5 shows in 4 days and make, X amount of money per show plus all the merch, why the fuck do you think I'm going to sign a contract to work in your piddly one horse ponytown show? That's ridiculous. Why would you even ask me for that? That it's the dumbest thing I've ever fucking heard. And I've been around that where guys have literally said, hey, I'm going to sign an exclusive deal with this guy because he's giving me $40 more than I would make, at this other show. Like, are you retarded? Like, what's your problem? Like, why would you do that?
Are you retarded?
Is this your profession? Like, do you make a living off of, is he paying your bills? Oh, he's not? Then why are you signing an exclusivity deal with him? Like, that's ridiculous. You need somebody else in your ear telling you the correct crap, because unless you're paying my bills and I'm on TV every week and I'm traveling the world and you're, like I said, you're paying my mortgage, why am I going to make myself exclusive to you? That's just ridiculous.
Right. Yeah. And until you actually make it to like the bigger national promotions, then it's like, okay.
And that takes a lot of balls as an indie guy to try and make somebody exclusive.
Yeah.
Because like you look at the biggest indie out there right now is probably GCW.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's you watch those cards, Brett Lauderdale, his show showcases people from all over the country, and they wrestle all over the place. So nobody has an exclusive with him.
No. Oh no.
If he's not willing to give everybody exclusives, what makes you think, so and so in fucking Dalhart's gonna do it?
No. Oh hell no.
Like, that's ridiculous. Why would you do that?
Yeah. Yeah. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Yep. I mean, all GCW is it's just a super indie. The latest super indie, I should say.
It's the latest incarnate. It's the latest version of ECW.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah.
They draw like crazy and they wrestle all the time. Like, they have like 3-4 shows a week.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, they're all over the place. And I know several people who have been in and out of SCP are fairly regular at GCW, and I've seen lots of them, and they make a good living, and that's great. But they're not stupid enough to sign a contract.
No. They realize that, hey, I got more worth. Like getting on a GCW, like that really kind of helps, but also like there's guys that are just like, hey, like I want to get as many dates as I can. And work for as many people as I can. Like, I think if I remember correctly, like, I mean, any wrestler like that has traveled around and done a lot of stuff, they usually try to get on in as many places as they can. They're not limited to just, they're not limited to just one like exclusive show unless, hey, it's a local show and their job prevents them from going out of town or from going to a whole host of different places. It's not like, hey, I can just, go hop in my car, drive to Houston and then drive back. Like, I mean, I know some people who do that, but usually like I remember Rex would be like, well, I want to work some shows on my way to San Antonio. So, but, anyway, who farted? I worked with a few old ECW guys, and they were just wired different. Rick, I think you can attest to that, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, they're the ECW guys. They had a whole different work ethic and mindset because the ECW guys. You have to remember, at the time that ECW was starting to gain a footing, there was no third national promotion. It was WWF and WCW, and ECW.
I just know they're wired different.
That's it. It was a whole different thing. It was absolutely a whole different thing. They viewed it differently. They acted differently. That was a subculture of the business that was completely foreign to the business at that time.
Right. Yeah. Although nowadays when I watch the old ECW, it ages like milk. Like it is like a lot of it is pretty like I'm like, well, that was the sign of the times. And then every now and then you'll run into like a really good like Eddie Guerrero like Dean Malenko match, like stuff like that. Like there we go. I got your back, Rick. But yeah, like it's there we go. All right. There we go. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
sorry, I think you lost me while I was talking.
That's okay. That's no problem.
No, I was just saying that like I said before, man, you go back and you watch the old ECW, you watch the old Attitude Era, none of that stuff holds up.
Yeah, it's really a sign of the times.
It really was. If you want to just watch it to enjoy that moment and be nostalgic and remember, that's fine. And I loved ECW. I loved it tremendously. Mm-hmm. I look back on how the business evolved and the business changed, and I blame a lot of that on ECW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Work shoots.
ECW forced both Vince and Bischoff to change everything.
Yep.
And without ECW, there would have been no NWO. There would have been no Attitude Era. There would have been none of that, because ECW was the counterculture, the underground, that adult feel. Both the national wrestling shows were catering to children until ECW came around, and then at the height of
everything, yeah.
Catering to adult males.
Yep.
They're catering to adult males.
Yep. When, before and since they've kind of drifted. Well, I remember, what was it? It was more so like 2010. Like they kind of got away from the ruthless aggression era a little bit. I remember we always lamented about like, oh, it's in the ruthless aggression era. Kind of wish they would be like a little more like Attitude Era or whatever, but I don't know. Now I'm kind of like old man shouting at clouds, and I'm like, I just want, sometimes I just want a good old fashioned story, like a chase for the title, or it's a feud that needs to end with a stipulation, that's very in character for both wrestlers. I don't know. I just want common sense to prevail again. That's all.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But yeah, whew, yeah. Gosh, what else can we get into? Ray, have you played any new video games as of late? Have you played Crimson Desert?
I haven't touched that, but I played the new Resident Evil Requiem.
Okay, alrighty. How's the new Resident Evil game?
Oh, it's awesome. I love it.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good. What's your favorite part about it?
Playing as Leon is right now.
Oh yeah, Leon. Yeah. Well, so is there Leon, and then there's like another girl now.
Ashley.
Did Ashley Graham come back?
No, she didn't come back. The Ashley girl's a new girl.
Oh, she's a new one, huh? Okay. Wow. Huh. Well. Okay. Because like, what wasn't there like? There was like wasn't there like an Ashley in like Resident Evil 4?
Yes.
So it's like a different Ashley.
Yes.
Why are they both named Ashley? They could come up with different names. Like, come on, Capcom.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. That's still one of my favorite promos. Like, I don't know. That was a Lex Luger promo too. God, Lex Luger. PWR's favorite wrestler, baby. But no, it's yeah. Hold on.
I played that Resident Evil, and I also played Neo 3.
Okay, all right.
Oh, that game's tough.
Yeah. I mean, they're not built to be easy. That's for sure.
No.
I'll be honest. I haven't played a whole lot of video games as of late. I've kind of I don't know. Just been podcasting and working on other projects and forbidden math behind the scenes. Yeah. Let's see here. I'm trying to think of.
You know what I'm looking forward to?
What's that, Rick?
Looking forward to the new Masters of the Universe movie.
Oh yes, the trailer looked really good for the new Master of the Universe movie.
Oh, the Master of the Universe?
Yeah,
I can't wait. Yet.
Yeah, it looks good. And then Jared Leto actually looks halfway decent as Skeletor. Like, you don't even have to see Leto's face, but he's got the voice down.
Nice.
I think the only time we're going to see Leto's face is if they do a flashback to Skeletor be as Keldor before he got his face burned.
Right.
Then we might see Leto. And Leto's the voice, he's speaking in almost a Shakespearean voice.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Okay.
Cool.
Dude, yeah. I'm so excited for this. I can't even stand it.
No Morbin time this time.
I keep seeing people online in these Masters of the Universe groups.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's talking about the movie, and I see all these guys that are like, they're talking about how they're gonna be so mad if Orko isn't in it, and I'm like, you know what? You're not on my side. You're not on my side because I hate Orko, and I don't want Orko anywhere near this movie. I want to have fun He-Man. He can be Adam and He-Man. I don't really like that angle. I didn't like it when they did that with the cartoon show because in the mini comics there was no Prince Adam. I didn't like that they went the Clark Kent Superman route, but fine, I'll accept it.
Yeah.
But keep your Orko to yourself. I don't need Orko. I don't want the goofy, stupid comedy character.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Every show had their goofy ass comedy character. Thundercats had Snarf. And I mean, like, no. Like, G.I. Joe and Transformers were cool because they didn't have those characters.
Right.
The obvious goofs, you know? Like, even Justice League, when they would do the Challenge of the Super Friends, they had fucking, the two kids in the capes, the redheaded kid.
The Wonder Twins.
No, the Wonder Twins were actual superheroes. I'm talking about Marvin and Wendy.
Oh, Marvin and Wendy was
Super Dog.
Super Dog.
I don't need that.
Oh,
I don't need that. Stop that. I don't need it.
They were bad too. I know they were. The comics kind of redid them to where they're not so much like comedy characters anymore. But yeah, I agree. Marvin, Wendy, like I was like, okay, all right, I can live with Wendy, to be like the everyman, the stand-in for the everyman. But like Marv and Super Dog, that was a typical Hanna-Barbera move to be like, let's put in some original characters. And
it was like taking Shaggy, Scooby, and Velma from Scooby-Doo and putting them in the Justice League. What are we doing?
Oh man, yeah. Good thing they phased them out by the Challenge of the Super Friends. Like, I still remember the episode where they actually had the what was it? Lex Luthor had like a gun that could kill all of the Super Friends. and they would all get killed. And I mean, this is still burned in my memory banks today. And then of course they pull off like this. They kill them all off, and they're like, okay, all right, like the Legion of Doom, they win. And then oh well, the Justice League comes back, and then they're like, oh, we fooled you. Like they were all robots that you killed off. Like so dumb. Like, oh, there was one where the Justice League, it was like Super Friends, and they fought Dracula, and Dracula, like they couldn't, at the time with the cartoons, they couldn't have Dracula bite into the necks of his victims. So what he did is he looked at him. He just looked at him and shot lasers at him, and they turned into vampires. And it was really funny because like the Super Friends are all gathered around in the Hall of Justice, and they're like the guy, like this French emissary or whatever. He's like, calling the Super Friends. Yeah, the plane just landed. How could they all land when it's all full of vampires? You know, the plane just landed and they were taken over by Dracula. And I'm like, what? Like it was ridiculous.
That's crazy.
They had some ridiculous stuff on Super Friends, but that was my childhood. I mean, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like they had some ridiculousness. Oh gosh, who else had some ridiculous stuff in there? I think once I grew up, it was Voltron and Voltron, where I kind of laughed at everybody because everybody was crying. I was like, I don't like this. Everybody's crying in this cartoon. And then let's see. And then then I was, and I got converted to Robotech when I was in high school. And I loved Robotech. Like Robotech, people died, like characters died, and shit blew up, and it was 50-foot aliens versus like jet fighters that would turn into giant robots and fight said aliens. So I was like, oh, I'm hooked. Like this is good shit.
That's my thing about most franchise media. They're so afraid to actually kill characters.
Yeah.
And I've never liked that. Like, death is a part of life.
Yep, it is.
Why can't we just... I remember going to the movie theater and watching Optimus Prime die.
Yeah.
I remember that. And when it happened, grown men in my theater were crying.
Oh my gosh.
And then it only took one season of the TV show to bring him back.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, why would you waste that moment? Why would you waste that moment? Like you touched people in a way. You could have used that moment to get over all these new characters in the wake of the death of their leader. But you've just wasted all that emotion that you made people feel because you brought it back because you were too afraid to step away from it.
Right. Well, and then Optimus Prime was, he was kind of one of the cornerstone characters of the Transformers franchise. So,
and then because of the craziness about him dying in that movie, the G.I. Joe movie, they had to go back and retcon and change lines so that they wouldn't kill Duke.
Right.
Because Duke was scheduled to die on screen. Like he took a Cobra spear, like Serpentor took a real Cobra and fashioned it into a fucking harpoon and threw it, and it got Duke in the heart. Like it fucking bit out his heart. He died, and then they added in post the line that he's gone into a coma. Meanwhile, on the screen, the animation, everybody is acting like he's dead.
Right.
And then at the very end of the show, they throw in the throwaway line that Duke's come out of his coma and everybody celebrates. You're like, well, that's stupid.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Why do we do that?
How can you survive a spear to the chest?
The whole point of Falcon's redemption arc in the movie was because his big brother died.
Yeah.
Like, so now are we not supposed to care about Falcon anymore because Duke didn't die? So Duke didn't sacrifice for it? Like, it's stupid.
Yeah, it was dumb. Let's see. Ooh, I know all about this. So Robotech started a lawsuit over toy rights. It's a whole history. Yep. It was like between Harmony Gold and I think I can't remember. It was like Mattel or someone. And then 3 anime spliced together and reworked for America. Yep, I'm aware of that. It's Macross, Southern Cross, and Most Piata. The VF1 toy, which was the original jet that turned into a robot, was almost identical to Jetstream from Transformers, sparking the Mattel Wars. That's interesting.
Ooh, that is interesting.
Yeah, but I mean that was how it was made in Japan. I don't know. I mean, and I think, what was it? Yeah, Jetstream was kind of identical to a VF1 Valkyrie, so, or a Veritech is what the Robotech people call it. A Veritech. But yeah, 80s cartoons. Like I was on the downhill slope of that. So I was Teenage Mutant Turtle. Oh, okay. I cried when they killed Duke. Oh.
Yeah, but they didn't kill him.
Right. I guess they got cold feet and they just kind of reworked it to where, I got into a coma.
They absolutely did. They got cold feet because of the backlash to Optimus Prime dying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why the G.I. Joe film never made the theaters. It went to direct to video, and then they played it in like 5 parts on television to set up their new season. And it was like, what are we doing?
What are we doing, G.I. Joe?
Because that movie was so good, and I will fight people in the street who who come at me about the Cobra Law stuff was stupid. Yeah, fuck you. Because the Cobra Law shit was brilliant. The fact that Cobra Commander never shows his face except for the one time in the cartoon show where Destro catches him eating with his mask off, and he gives the line of, "It takes a strong stomach to watch me eat, doesn't it, Destro?" We never see him. We don't know where he came from. We don't know anything. And then it just so happens that when Cobra is in need of shelter and they're close to the Himalayas, that they go and they seek out Cobra Law, which is an allegory to Shangri-La, and it's this community, this historic community of organic based life forms that are anti-machine and they're anti-human, and they sent out one of their nobleman scientists, Cobra Commander, to lead an army to take over the world so that they could resurface and rebuild their organic society. That is such a deep fucking story, and there's so much there, and it explains so much about Cobra Commander and why everything that they use for Cobra looks reptilian in its nature, the way it's designed. Yeah. Like that makes so much sense, and then people are like, well, that was stupid. Well, I'm sorry that you need like salt and pepper on your steak, but I need a little bit more spice than that, you fucking southern doof. Sorry, the South isn't gonna rise again, buddy. Watch some better fucking television.
The South shall rise again.
Because it's always the same fucking hicks that are always mad at everything. It's always the same guys. I don't like this, I don't like that, because I liked it better when I was a little kid. But yeah, well, fuck off, Cletus. Things change. We like good stories.
One of 27 kids.
I'm sorry that your idea of a meal is a bologna sandwich and a bowl of cereal, but kindly fuck off. We need more food than that.
When Optimus died, I was like, Ratchet will just rebuild him. Yeah, that's true. Like
Ratchet. That's funny. They killed the opening fight scene in the Transformers movie, murdered almost half of the Gen 1 toy characters. Like, they killed a lot of them. They killed a lot because they were about to sell a whole brand new batch of toys.
Right.
So yeah, let's kill off all the old toys so that you buy the new ones.
Yeah, that's so ridiculous. And when they killed Slimer in the real Ghostbusters, I cried fucking dickless. They killed Slimer. No, but no, I enjoyed the real Ghostbusters. Like for one of Deke's like earlier works, like the real Ghostbusters was a really fucking good show.
The real Ghostbusters.
The collect Call of Cthulhu is really freaking good for an 80s kids cartoon.
Collect Call of Cthulhu.
Call of Cthulhu. It's so good. Like it touches on all the H.P. Lovecraft lore in a certain way. Like they deep dive, like the script writers deep dived into the whole lore on H.P. Lovecraft. And they had to go to like, what was it? Massachusetts University. And they had to fight off Cthulhu spawn, and then Big Cthulhu came up. But the only glaring hole in logic when it came to the Ghostbusters fighting Cthulhu was that if you gazed upon Cthulhu, you would instantly go mad. Where the Ghostbusters are staring at him for like at least 5 minutes within the 20-minute episode, the 22-minute episode. And then they defeat him by like wrapping him up in a roller coaster. That's kind of weird. So I don't know. It was good, but I was like, yeah. Anyway.
South Park did a trilogy called the Coon and Friends trilogy, where they had Cthulhu show up because an oil company drilled too deep into the Earth's crust and unleashed Cthulhu, and that was a really funny 3 episodes of South Park. I really enjoyed those.
Oh yeah, where they dug down all the way to Raleigh, and they brought out Cthulhu.
It was so funny.
Oh yeah. Well, like I think like and any Godzilla fan would be like, dude, I would totally want to see Godzilla fight Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Where's Celebrity Deathmatch when you need it?
I know. I miss Celebrity Deathmatch.
Why don't they bring that back? That was amazingly fun.
Well, they could probably
getting
do
to
with
watch
computer
celebrities
now,
and claymation murder each other. That was great.
Yeah. Like they don't do anything with claymation anymore. Like plus it's like it costs too much, I guess, in manpower. But they could do it with CGI.
Yeah. Oh, they absolutely could. They absolutely could.
I mean, I guess that's what they got Death Battle for, but who cares about Death Battle? Yeah. Where Celebrity Deathmatch was where it was at. Gosh, they had so many good matches like in Celebrity Deathmatch.
Dude, I could put Celebrity Deathmatch on a loop and just watch it in the background. It's great.
It is pretty good. And it had what was it? Oh gosh, what was it? Judge, was it Judge Joe Brown? Or
no, it was Mills Lane.
Mills Lane, because Mills Lane was a boxing. He was a boxing ref at one time.
He became a judge after the Celebrity Deathmatch made him way more famous.
Yeah. Judge Mills Lane. Let's get it on.
Yeah.
I remember like the late 90s was like the golden age of like judges on TV. Because I remember like Judge Judy got pushed and they had Judge Mills Lane. People's Court was always around, but like People's Court, like I felt like hit its stride when like during this Jerry Springer, Ricky Lake, Maury Povich, like type of era. Yeah.
Dude, the people coming before a judge to hear their cases. I mean, the People's Court was around for a long time. But once TV talk shows, once afternoon talk shows, once everybody got on to the format of shock TV with the talk shows, the court stuff just followed suit.
Yeah.
And then it was like, now there's 19 shows where we're going to have all these different judges hear people's stories that are outlandish and ridiculous, and they're going to pass judgment, and we can all watch and be happy that that's not our life. I mean, that's... Yeah, that was just the era of shock and awe television that drove all that.
Yeah.
Same era that gave us the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
That 95 to like 2003, like the debauchery of like those 8 years is totally what led to the PC movement of today.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you don't like the way the world is today, well, you've got 95 to 2003 to thank for it.
Yeah, we ventured so close to the edge that we had to be pulled
back. They did. They pushed the envelope so far that we didn't just pull the envelope back, we pulled it back and we locked it in a chastity belt.
When I go to my mom's house for lunch and spend time with her, we watch Divorce Court.
See, there you go.
So there you go. And then let's see. Humwawa is scarier than Cthulhu, or Vordum. I forget. I think it's Hastur. Hastur is scarier than Cthulhu. And then there's there's this one. I'm backtracking to the H.P. Lovecraft stuff. There was like some being that all he just did, he was just devoured stars. Like he was kind of like Galactus on a, but he was even scarier to look at. Like he was like a walking black hole. He'd just eat things and he'd distort reality around you and you'd be all 20,000 leagues of fucked up. But
that's terrifying.
That is terrifying. Well, H.P. Lovecraft stuff was just, they had some weight behind it. Some scary ass shit.
Sounds like somebody needed a hobby.
H.P. Lovecraft? I mean, he probably just had some bad dreams and just decided, I'm going to write about it. So
he's got way too much time on his hands.
Well, he came from the early 20th century, so you betcha he had a ton of time on his hands. Like way too much time on his hands. Yeah.
I get that.
But yeah, gosh, what was it? I was at work the other day and I see the kids of today starting to watch Jerry Springer, and they would pop to when Maury Povich would come out in with the DNA test, because with Maury Povich, you'd always have those shows where it's I slept with 6 guys, but I don't know who the baby daddy is. And and Maury Povich comes out and he's like, I have the DNA results. And then of course he's like, Jerome, you are not the father. And then he jumps up and he starts dancing. And then the woman runs out of the room and she sobs, and everybody pops because it's because of the reactions, the over the top reactions. And Maury would have to go and console the woman while the dude's still dancing out on the main stage. And I showed that to a few of my coworkers, and they and they're all Gen Zers, and they would pop, they would be like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's just what that's what TV was during midday. That's how I would spend most of my summer mornings, is watch that lineup of Maury Povich, Jerry Springer, and Ricky Lake.
That's crazy.
I testified in a murder trial. No one joked. I got you, Drew. Jerry. I miss Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer, what was it? It was there was one episode, and I remember it was this husband of this married couple of 30 years. And all of a sudden this guy wanted to be a woman. So he basically butchered his private parts so he could become a woman. And he kept those private parts in a jar. And and I remember my stepbrother at the time, he's like, he's not even a good good looking woman. Why does he want to be a woman? And it was but that was what Jerry Springer was all about, was you'd have those I had to testify in a murder trial as well, not a smile in the courtroom. Oh no smiles in a courtroom for a murder trial. But yeah, but I just remember crazy episodes like that, or it's I slept with my cousin and I had the baby. Who's the daddy? it was just it got ridiculous, and I'm like, well, where does it end? Like, where does it stop being ridiculous? Or how can they top this past episode with, like, you know, the incest isn't the wincest, you know, and all that, you know, or the guy trying to, you know, the husband of 30 years trying to be a woman. Well, I just always felt like I needed to be a woman. Yeah, I just didn't know how they were able to top some of this stuff. It just blows my mind. And then Jerry would be the ultimate straight man. And then he would do like the Jerry's thoughts at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where we do all this crazy shit during the show, show you the worst of all human beings during the show. But at the very end, I need to remind you all to be kind to each other and love each other.
Yeah.
Like, what? You spent the entire show telling us that we were the most awful people on the planet and we should do nothing but ridicule each other. And then you wrap it all up in the end in a nice little bow and remind us to be kind. What? What are we doing?
When Maury done the Transformer shows, was I born? A man left me really confused. Yeah, those were the shows. I was a juror in a civil jury injury case and did make people laugh. Well, okay, let me read that one more time, Drew. I'm sorry. I was a juror in a civil injury case and did make people laugh while deliberated. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Jury duty is awesome. Yeah, I mean, you get to spend a little time away from work. I tell people, like, I was like, well, you know, if you want to vote, you know, you want to go vote, you do have to serve jury duty. That's what you have to do. And if you don't vote, at least you don't have to serve jury duty. I didn't mind jury duty. Like, it kind of sucked getting $6, like just wasting an hour of my time, but it is what it is. I mean, it was $6. I was like, okay, this is enough for a drink. You know, this is enough for a soft drink. But yeah. Oh, well. But let's see. My dogs were going crazy about something. I knew a family who went on Springer, and I can tell you that show wasn't scripted. That family was really that fucked up. Yeah. Like, there's so many families that are messed up. They were 20,000 leagues of fucked up. Like, I mean, like, no different than Cyrax. Like, the Wilkins family is pretty messed up. Look at the Slidell family over, like, the Tafia, the Chew crew. You know, well, not the Chew crew, but the Chew clan. Yeah, they're like all sorts of messed up. Like, there's so many messed up families. Like, but I guess like some families, like they love putting the fun into functional. So dysfunctional, I should say. But yeah, yeah, it makes me think. Goodness, that like some of the families, some of the family dysfunction that I have is actually pretty tame compared to other families. So,
yes.
Like at least the Andersons, we all get along, and we actually have really, really good family gatherings. There's no big fights. You know, the stepdad side of the family, they talk politics, and I usually don't like being a part of that. But at least they're not devolving into fist fights at the dinner table. I saved an old man liability on an injury. I flipped the jury. It's important to participate in justice. Yeah.
Justice?
If I'm going to go do jury duty, I need to be absolutely 100%. I need confirmation that the jury I'm going to sit on is going to be basically like the 12 Angry Men story, the 12 Angry Men movie. I need to be in that room with those people to watch that train wreck happen. That's what I need.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because I just want to be a fly on the wall for the train wreck. That's what I want.
Yeah. Gosh, I had to remember it was just getting back from the world was just beginning to recover from the whole COVID thing, and I had to cover how the court would do like the whole social distancing, the whole selection process. That was very interesting, those inner workings. And it was interesting to be the fly on the wall to see that process all break down in front of me. And it was funny because one of my coworkers like was kind of in the running to be like one of the jurors. She got through like one of the first cut, but yeah, but she didn't make it through the second cut because she knew one of the she knew either the plaintiff or the defense or the plaintiff or the she knew one of the parties, so she got axed. Yeah, that's damn near what it's like. The last time I had to go to court was because a family feud took a stiff right turn, and I had to lay some hands and teach a cousin the error of his ways. Oh, damn.
Oh, geez.
Oh, man. Yeah, jeez Louise. Gosh dang. Well, yeah, don't throw hands at your family reunion. Yeah, don't throw hands, don't catch hands. Yeah, it's not as fun as you think. Mostly because like people like to sue and people like to press charges and get cops involved. So, or you spend a night in jail, or you have to do court time. So, yeah. Well, we need to be careful.
Yeah.
I have my dogs staring at me like they want supper here pretty quick, and I will oblige to their wishes here soon. Okay, the last time I was called into jury duty, half of my neighbors were called upon, and we all carpooled to the courthouse. Oh. Okay. Huh. Well, that's convenient. That all worked. Pile all into the minivan and hitch a ride over to the courthouse. That's pretty easy. I see all the dogs like moving right behind me on screen, so I'm kind of like keeping an eye on them to make sure that they're not in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got on my lap. They all got a turn on my lap, and then now they're like, let's see what's going on here. I've never been in here before. The loud dog chased me down, and I had to return to the scene of the incident. Ah, gotcha. Ooh. I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot the deputy. Oh, let's see. Yeah, we're about to the 2-hour mark. I suppose I could probably hype up some scheduled stuff on the way. Tomorrow, we're going to do a new episode of Crash Out Connoisseurs. CJ and I will give coverage to Darkside Phil's 44th birthday. So we'll see if there's any highlight or lowlights out of that one. And then let's see, next week we have Sweeze and Swizzle on. They want to resurrect their podcast. So this is a chance for them to kind of help promote their podcast, or at least the return of it. And lastly, as far as I know right now, unless things change, Lord Diaz will be on tap for April 19th, the episode 6 of the second season of the Unfiltered podcast. And in between, there's going to be a lot more Crash Out Connoisseurs, because you never know what's going to go on in the world of the lolcows, the deepest, darkest depths of the internet. Yes, Sweeze and Swizzle will be on next week. So, yes, be sure to hop in for that one, Drew. But yeah, any other parting words, Rick, Ray?
I don't have any. I mean, I appreciate the time. Thank you for letting me come on. I appreciate it. Always enjoy the talking.
You bet.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, you bet. I mean, Ray was the fly in the wall. He kind of saw how things were kind of flowing. So, yeah. But hey, I appreciate you guys. Yeah, like, I think CJ couldn't get away from family, and that's okay. He can let him spend time with family. That's what Laura's doing right now. So, you know,
it's Easter, man. I get it.
Yeah, it's Easter, man. Spend time with your folks. Enjoy some good food. And, I mean, at least get some fellowship in. That's, you know, I'm never going to get mad over that. I was like, hey, if anything, spend time with family. I got the place to myself. It's me and the dogs, the 2 boys, the 1 girl. And yeah, we're just all hanging out, and they're all kind of wanting supper. So, but yeah, guys, I am going to sign off. Be sure to check the page. Also, we have a Spotify and a Patreon in the, I think, do I have it in the description below? I'm sure I do. I'll add that. I'll actually add that to the description once we're done. But yeah, like, all of our Patreon, all of our episodes are free on Patreon. And then all of our, and then our Spotify, just find, Tyler Liger, and then you see all the Unfiltered podcast episodes, including Crash Out Connoisseurs. So yeah, like, I think I've hit everything. Until next time, hey, you guys have a great start to your week, a fantastic end to the weekend. I know some people still have Monday off, and I know some people still have to go back to work on Monday. So, I mean, I remember back in the day, like, I had to go back to school like Monday morning, like unless it was like spring break, which was kind of awesome. Like, I loved it when I was able to, you know, have Easter weekend and then have spring break like right afterwards. It was the best scheduling. Or you started it with like you started spring break and then it led all the way up to Easter, but I don't think that happened very often when I was in school. Okie doke, guys, thank y'all so much. Let's do some shout outs before I go. Drew, shout out to you, brother. Who farted? Thanks for joining us. Nico, always a pleasure. I saw B Young hop in and say hello. Shout out to B Young. And also, I think there was somebody else. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anybody. Sweeze, always good to see you. Yeah, remember, hop in next week, Sweeze. Don't forget. And yeah, I think I got everybody. Oh, you have a nightmare wiring job tomorrow. Hey, hang in there. Just one wire at a time. Okay, we are going to rock and roll. Rick, thanks for joining me. Ray, thanks for joining me.
You're welcome.
Let's rock and roll. Let's have a good rest of the day. And as far as I'm concerned, I'll see y'all tomorrow for Philip's disaster of a 44th birthday. Until next time, take care. Happy Easter.